Just to get started, I know the hot topics the last couple of weeks. I know, obviously Saquon. We engaged in negotiations over a 9.5-month period, and at the end of the day, couldn't come to agreement on a longer-term deal. But we circled back on Monday, and fortunately, we're able to come to an agreement. With altering the franchise tag a little bit to get him to camp, and we're ecstatic, fired up that Saquon's going to be here for the start of camp. So excited about that. I'm sure you guys just saw the Andrew Thomas news. So again, 24-and-a-half-year-old left tackle that we now have locked up for 7 years. So ecstatic about that as well. So with that, I'll open up to questions.
How tough is it for you to separate the player from the business side of it, or is that something you ever used to?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a personal side, of course. You get to know these guys throughout a season. They go to work every day. They work hard for you, and that is part of it. There's a human element to it, but at the end of the day, you try to do what's best for both parties. And in this situation, we weren't able to come to agreement. That's okay. I've been in this for 23 years, and sometimes deals get done, and sometimes they don't.
Why do you think it wasn't able to get done?
Why wasn't it able to get done? Again, we talked for over 9.5 months, and we came to kind of a landing spot, and they came to a landing spot, and we couldn't bridge the gap. And like I said, that's okay. Saquon has to do what's best with him, for him and his family, and I respect the hell out of Saquon, and I'm never going to tell somebody to do something that they don't think is right. So again, I respect Saquon. I admire him. I'm glad he's here. Again, we weren't able to get something done long term, but he's here, and I'm again fired up that he's going to be on the field today.
There's not a lot of history of guys who play on the tag and then sign extensions with that same team. How do you view his future here, and would you tag him again next year?
Yeah, we're day one of training camp. I appreciate the question, but again, we've had a lot of we've been busy the last week or so, and we're going to take it day by day from here on out. And we got a team to build, camaraderie, continuity on in all three phases. So we're just going to take it day by day from here on out.
We'll circle back with Saquon a couple of days ago. You guys initiated the contact, and did you think it was something that was doable, or just kind of throw up a Hail Mary?
No, again, you don't spend 9.5 months on this if you don't want to get something done. So as soon as the deadline passed, I called his representative and said, okay, it's that's all in the past. There's nothing we can do about it. What we can focus on is how to get Saquon here on Tuesday. So that was our main focus for the rest of the time. And I commend, Ed Berry and CAA, and, again, we, a lot of communication back and forth and phone calls and spitballing, different ideas, and just really excited and glad that we were able to get Saquon here yesterday.
How important was it for you to not prohibit a franchise tagging? You still have the ability to tag him next year if you want. That wasn't taken off the table.
Yeah, without getting into specifics, it's a good question. I respect it. We just, again, we had a lot of different ideas on the table, and at the end of the day, the provisions that we had in place, both parties agreed on it, and it's something that we were both happy about.
Joe, kind of curious, when you're negotiating high-profile deals like this, how do you kind of balance, keeping things quiet and managing the message that's getting down to the locker room? Because obviously stuff is going to leak out here and there, maybe some misconceptions. So how do you kind of balance that?
Yeah, again, another good question, but not a lot of negotiations go on for, this is almost 10 months. So you've got a combine in between there, you got league meetings, eventually all these conversations back and forth, some of it gets out and more people find things. So again, trying to manage the locker room, I don't think, I was told a long time ago when I started, from a player, they don't get into other people's business when it has to do with money. So again, I think everybody loves Saquon. We appreciate him. We love him as a player, as a teammate. And, I think everybody's ecstatic that he's here.
You worried about any lingering?
No.
How concerned were you about the possibility of him missing a large portion of training camp? Because we're getting up to that point. How concerned were you that could be something that could happen?
Yeah, I didn't really know. Again, you're trying to do a negotiation. If they said they never came out and said that to us. So I wasn't really. I was focused on trying to get a deal done, and then once we weren't able to get a longer term deal done, how can we get him here, and we did.
Joe, were you disappointed that you weren't able to agree to a long-term deal with this team after the essential 10 months of negotiation?
Yeah, again, I'm just glad he's here. I'm glad there's nothing we can do about that. So, my focus was getting him here on day one, and he's here on day one. And again, we're fired up about it and can't wait to get on the field.
Joe, overall, what does this mean to the franchise in your mind to have this done now and to go on with training?
Yeah, it means a lot. It's again, he's a very good player. He's a good teammate. He's somebody that we tried hard and long to get a deal done with. And again, we're a better football team with Saquon here to start training camp.
The reality is that he didn't get what he wanted, right? So you still have to manage him and coach him. How are you making sure that he feels confidence that the Giants still have that belief in him that he's the future?
Yeah, if you know Saquon, you're not worried about his confidence. I'm not worried about Saquon's confidence. He's comfortable here. He's ready to go. Did the conditioning test the other day. He's a pro. He's in shape, and I wouldn't expect anything different out of Saquon.
Hey, Brian, but there's the aspect of worth, right, and appreciation. And on the side of the Giants, you have to manage the market and manage, the points that are going on with just the position. And on the player side, there is, we know that he is appreciated, but then there's that sense of worth and value and all that other stuff. So I'm just curious, Brian, how are you managing the interpersonal aspect of the conversations that, obviously everyone knows what he can do, but it's so personal, right? And so just making sure that he still feels that and there's no residue from that that's still leaking out in other places, especially if you guys were to encounter adversity during the season.
Yeah, Saquon and I have a really good relationship. We've communicated a lot, and he's here. He's ready to go. He's excited to be here, and I'm excited that he's here.
Joe, you mentioned is there anything unhappiness you said no. Was that portrayed to you by Saquon, and how much have you had conversations with him after the hard negotiation with him personally?
Yeah, listen, he's here. He's ready to go. Again, he's a great teammate. He's a good football player. He was in great shape when he came here. You guys know the person he is. He's good. Again, he made a decision.
Have you spoken to him?
Huh?
Have you had a personal conversation with him?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
Brian, how much of a relief is it that this is now focused on football?
Yeah, I've been in the league a long time. And, again, I'm excited all of our guys are here. It's our first day of training camp. We got a long way to go, and we're just going to take it day by day and try to get better. Whether it's Saquon, Dexter, Daniel, Leo, Adoree, whoever it may be on our roster. We have a bunch of good guys in the locker room, and I'm thankful I get to work with them.
Brian, you don't pay the players; you play the players.
One more time.
You don't pay the players, but you're responsible for playing them. So, the running back market has really tanked. What is your sense of Saquon and the running back market and your value of a running back in your team and your offense?
Yeah, again, I'm thankful that he's here. He's ready to go, and we're taking, it's first day of training camp. That's where my focus is, Paul, is going out there and having a good practice at 10 o'clock.
Are you a believer in running backs?
I'm a believer in all players.
Joe, would you consider this a successful offseason, locking up Daniel as well as Dexter in addition to Saquon and now Andrew?
Yeah, I would kind of echo what Dave said. Again, we had a plan in the offseason. It's a long offseason, kind of culminating today with getting Andrew done, which was really important for us. And again, we just got to take it day by day. Every year it's different. Each team's different. We got to develop our chemistry, continuity, and all that stuff. That's what training camp's for. So that's what this summer's going to be in training camp. And again, every team's different. So that's what we'll work to do over the next 30-some days before our first game.
Joe, what makes you confident the team is better than it was when you walked off the field in January in Philadelphia?
Again, we haven't practiced yet, and we haven't been in pads. So all that, again, we got to go out, and guys got to work, and they got to earn everything. And we've created competition at a lot of positions, and that'll take shape over the next month. We haven't even had a practice yet, so it's hard to give any type of predictions like that.
Joe, you had 2 more years of deep control for Andrew Thomas, so why did it now make sense to do that?
Yeah, again, there's a history of that. We did in Buffalo a couple times. I'm a believer in it. Again, he played at a high level. He's our type of guy, and to get ahead of those things, I think, if he's willing to do a deal, and it was something we were comfortable with, both parties were happy with, where we ended up landing.
I guess for both of you guys, have the expectations from 1 year ago when you guys sat in here and talked about you didn't really know what to expect. It was day one. Have the expectations changed, and if so, how?
No, I don't think so. I think last year, I actually thought about that this morning, Art. That's a good question. Last year we didn't really know that, these guys hadn't been in pads. There was hadn't been through adversity, hadn't had a deficit in the fourth quarter. We hadn't been through a lot of that. So I think we understand the grit and the makeup of some of the players, the current players that have been here, and then we've got a lot of new players that we still got to figure out who they are, and difficult times and adversity, and even when we have success. So again, I think all that's going to take shape over the next month and a half.
Coach, how important is core continuity for you when guys get signed and your core guys are still able to remain with you on this football team?
Yeah, anytime you can retain good players as a coach, you're thankful for that. Again, just to go back to Art's question, is every year is a new year. I've said this at the start of OTAs. This is really the first day of true football season in training camp. We have a long way to go. A lot of things we have to build. We have some new players that, again, until you get into crunch time, you don't know exactly what you have. So our job is to make sure we coach them to the best of our ability, bring them together, and then let them go out there and compete.
You know, back in June, it seemed like from Saquon's end, at least, it looked like he felt this got personal. So how did you guys get it from June, where he was clearly frustrated personally, to a point where he signed, you got back to the business part?
Yeah, that was never articulated to me. So he never said that to me, that he was frustrated or whatever that was.
Hey, Joe, from a macro perspective, I mean, obviously, the focus is on the first day of training camp, but just kind of getting back to the running back position here, I'm just curious from a GM perspective, front office perspective, how much you think the contract with Christian McCaffrey at a 16 APY is also kind of skewing the emotions that's going around some of the players in the position, as far as, a lot of guys sitting around that 12-8, and then kind of seeing what he was able to attain, especially with his history of injuries and things like that, and how that's maybe kind of skewing the broader view of, the compensation around the position.
Yeah, I respect the question, and again, we went through negotiation with Saquon, and again, I'm happy with the backs that we have going into camp, and I'll probably just leave it at that.
Brian, what do you want to see from Daniel the next couple of weeks? I mean, if you set a goal for him, or a couple goals, whatever it is, because we talked in the spring about him taking the next step, pushing the ball down the field a little bit more, taking some chances where he sees. If you were going to set it for him, what do you want to see out of camp from him?
Yeah, his job is to make good decisions and lead the team down to score points. Regardless of a new contract or anything like that, that's his job. So he has to focus on continual improvement, just like everybody else does. That's what training camp is for, and that's what we'll try to do.
Is there anybody on the pup list that you're concerned about, maybe more than others, that might not be able to?
I think they're all at different spots. They've been working hard, rehabbing. When they're ready, they'll be off pup.
Is the start of the regular season in jeopardy for any of those guys, or are you talking shorter term?
I'm talking day one of training camp right now.
Joe, with the four quarterbacks, Dexter, Daniel, Saquon, and Andrew, I think you spent something like $378 million. Did you have this money? How do you fit it into the cap?
Yeah, no, I mean, first and foremost, I'm thankful for ownership, the Mayor and Tisch family, that they give us the resources to operate and, again, sign, retain our players, or even through free agency, that they give us the resources to succeed. So, again, you're always looking the short term, and then you're looking at a long-term plan. And, I think, as we went into the offseason, some of the longer deals that we did, those were longer-term plans, based on age, durability, where they fit, and, again, just thankful that we have the resources to do that.
Joe, what's your message to the fan base in terms of the commitment that you've made to your core players? What do you want them to know about this franchise going forward?
Yeah, I would just say, as long as Dave's and I are in leadership positions, we're going to do whatever we can that's best for the franchise in order to, pursue champiomships and find a way to sustain success, as often as we can.
What was your message in your first team meeting with everybody? What was it going to be?
Pretty basic. I'm not a big talker at the first couple days of training camp. There's a lot of anxiety for a lot of these players. I think you lay out clear standards, clear expectations of what you expect in the meeting rooms, in the building, on the practice field, and everybody has to buy into the program, which we have a lot of good people in our building, not just players, but support staff, people on the business side, trainers, equipment. They're all involved in that meeting. A lot of it is logistics. Today was really go out there, compete. There's going to be a lot of mistakes that be made. We're going to try to put you in difficult situations, move on to the next play as quick as you can, support your teammates, go out there and play as hard and smart as you can. Again, today's kind of page one of the 2023 season. A long way to go. Let's just take it day by day and get better each day.
Hey, Joe, when you took over 18 months ago, whatever it was it your goal to, at the start of year two, have a core of players that you now have for the long term, whether they wound up being here already or brought in?
Yeah, I think a lot of those guys earned it, off of, the way they played in 2022, evaluating those guys, and they played well, getting to know them as people and how they work, and, they're pros in every sense of the word. So after being them around for a year, all those guys, have earned what they've gotten, and look forward to for them being here for a long time.
How much does it take off the general manager's plate to have those key positions locked up for the next couple of years?
A lot. Yeah.
Assuming it was important to you that Saquon be here from the get-go, why?
Because he's a very good player and a good leader for us. As a coach, you want all your players here. I'm thankful that I think that says a lot about Saquon too. I have a great amount of respect for him, a great amount of appreciation and love for him, and glad he's in the building. I know his teammates are glad, and good day to start out.
Have you addressed with him anything about coming in with a clear head, given everything that has gone on over the weeks and months?
Yeah, I've had a lot of conversations with Saquon, none that I'm, with all due respect, going to share. Those are private, but we're in a good spot.
What's the plan with handling him on the field? Do you just give him full workload like normal, or are you going to maybe taper it a little bit?
No, I think that, those are some meetings you have before you leave, not just with Saquon, but your entire team with sports science and with the athletic trainers, and try to come up with a schedule and a plan that kind of gets these guys flowing into training camp the right way. So we have a plan really for every player, Jordan. They'll get their amount of reps that they need to get, and each day we'll build off of that. So there's no limitations. Yeah.
We're going to go light on him. He's on the last year of his deal. He might have requested, hey, I don't want to.
No, we're going to get ready to play football.
It seemed like he felt the plan last year was to use him more as a receiver, and that he would like to be used more as a receiver. Is that something that you would like to see happen in your offense this year?
Yeah, I mean, look, we have new pieces on offense. We'll do what we think is best for the offense, like we always do.
Joe, there were different reports yesterday that Saquon asked for a trade. You guys shopped him. Reps wanted.
We never. No.
Yeah. Could you characterize what happened in March?
We never had a conversation about trading Saquon Barkley. Never.
And if a team read those reports and called you about his availability,
we get calls all the time. We've already gotten them this offseason, whether it's our 10th corner. Hey, we need a corner. Any of your back end guys, or one of your top guys. We get those calls all the time. Even in June, we got some of those calls in June. So teams call all the time, just inquiring, hey, would you do this? Would you do that? And no, not one time.
Coaches tend to be father figures, and many times coaches a long time ago talked to players about drinking and drugs and things like that. Then it became guns, and now it seems like it's hazing and gambling. When do you guys find the time to discuss that?
We try to educate our players every day on a variety of topics. I think the league does a great job of bringing in representatives that are mandatory meetings that we have discussions about. And plus, we have a great support staff within our organization of experts that, even if it might not be a mandated meeting, that I might have another person in the organization stand up in front of the room and address whatever that topic is. I think you're constantly educating these young players. Again, some of them are younger than my kids, not much older than them. So I know the conversations that I have with my older sons and my daughter, and we have those with our players too. I think caring about them as people is first and foremost. Developing relationships with the people you're with every single day, and understanding the things that they have to deal with on a daily basis. And that has evolved since I've been coaching, back in '97. So each year is a little bit different. I think you take each individual and talk to them about whatever you need to talk to them about, along with collectively making sure that you're, helping them be the best version of themselves. I tell the coaches and the staff all the time, we're here for one reason, and that's the players. It's a players' game, and our job is to help our players be as good as they can be, both on and off the field. I think that's important to our organization. It's a standard for us, and that's something that we will always do.
Joe, is there anything you wanted to clarify about any of the reporting? There's been so much going on the last 10 months. Is there anything that you wanted to make sure from the Giants side was out there in terms of any of these negotiations?
No, Saquon and his representatives and the New York Giants, we lived it, so we're good. And like I said before, we care about what we think inside these four walls in that building over there. And Saquon went through it, and we went through it, and we know where the truth lies. And both parties tried, and I'm at peace with that.